Look at all this loot! DJ, none for you! Look at it! Isn't it lovely? But will it give me the pings? Ping! Welcome back, I'm Captain Xavier, and as the title and thumbnail would suggest, today I'm going to be modifying an Adventure Force Spectrum using this awesome kit that was sent to me by Matt from RexTech. They put together this very modular and very beautiful kit and went to some extra steps using my logo. It shows up in a number of places and it's just cool. They also have their logo, the RexTech logo, as well as that one, RexTech. Very cool. But like I said, this is a fairly modular kit, so there's a number of different options available here. There is obviously a replacement stock, and this just attaches onto the Adventure Force stock attachment point, and it has a proper locking mechanism and everything, so that is really very, very cool. It's just the right length for me. Might be too short or too long for some of you, but it's beautiful length for me. If you need more modularity, then of course there is this, which is an adapter from the Adventure Force stock attachment point to N-Strike, at which point you can put whatever stock you want on there. There is then replacement barrel and top rail, which gives you proper Picatinny rail, which is really nice because the Adventure Force rail, or at least this Adventure Force rail, isn't. It's weird how some of their stuff is proper Picatinny rail and then this stuff isn't. I don't make the rules. Anyway, this is a lovely bit of barrel, and it itself is modular. It actually will open up, and you can either have what's in there now, which is just an empty barrel, and it's a very open and vented so that it doesn't cause too much barrel drag. If, however, you want a tighter barrel, there are inserts. You can replace the muzzle here, and then there is a section here that you can put in that will then allow you to put in worker barrel or Nerf barrel or whatever barrel you want, and that will properly hold that if you wanted a longer barrel or what have you. So that option exists. You then have a number of options for the bottom. They do have bottom rail. That they have the screws for it. If you wanted to put on a foregrip or what have you, you could put that there. Alternatively, they have a piece that just slides over the existing rail and just covers it up. And finally, they also have an angled foregrip, and it's a really comfy one with those finger notches. It's actually very comfortable. However, it does get in the way of the lower rail, and so kind of my one suggestion would be to make a shorter section of rail, put in another set of screws and have a shorter section of rail that wouldn't get in the way of this. You'd have to make it so that it didn't get in the way of your forefinger there, but in the event that somebody wanted to have rail up there, you know, either for a vertical foregrip or a flashlight or whatever they wanted up there, that would allow them to have both. It would also then keep this from coming apart, though the shell does help. So, for internal modifications, there is a battery housing for a LiPo, and it will fit the 0.95 graphenes, which are lovely, and a switch mount for your trigger. There isn't a cage. You're on your own for that. There are a number of options out there. I have one printing at the moment. It'll be done in a couple of hours. Didn't get it started when I should have, but we will start with stripping down the blaster that we're going to be modifying and starting with the wiring that I can make the flywheel setup modular, and then I'll be able to put it in when I want. So we've got our Spectrum here. The first thing we're going to take out is, well, everything. Pretty much everything's going to go. That's that. Okay. Time to bust out the soldering iron. I will just wire it up so that the cage attaches with a XT60 or something. No dear. Oh dear. I need to moisten. Ooh. I need to moisten my sponge. Alright, so we have a switch plate that I can only assume. They're only going to go the one way. That's got to be right there. And then I assume we Dremel that flat. Can a man get an explanation? Alright, got my switch in place, and it looks like you don't use the original rev trigger return switch, which is spring, which is nice because it's a really nice spring that I'm sure I'll find use for somewhere else. And it makes for a nice clicky rev, which I like a clicky rev trigger. So that is that. Next comes the rest of our wiring, which is going to be pretty simple. We'll have an XT60 in here, we'll have an XT60 up here. Wire it all together. Simple enough. Okay, there's everything wired up except the cage, which is still printing, so I have to wait on that. We do have to do a little bit of extra dremeling. There is a bit right here that needs to get trimmed down so that the shell will close. Lovely. Lovely. Fantastic. Alright, now we wait for the printing, or at least I wait. You guys won't have to wait. It'll be done by the time this thing is edited. I'm gonna go work on other stuff for a little bit. Right, here it is, fully installed. I skipped the whole build process because it's identical to a Strife, and I've done Strife builds numerous times. If you have any questions about it, feel free to ask, or go look at one of my Strife wiring guides. It is exactly the same, except this shell is actually nicer to work in because it's got better wire management set up. It's really a delight to work in this blaster, it turns out. I did go with their stock. It's a good length, and I like the look of it as well as the length. I did go with the angled foregrip, and I made the modification to the rail that I mentioned where I simply shortened it. Just bandsawed off a little section of it, and then tapped in new screw holes so that I could have rail down here in addition to this grip, so I could put a vertical foregrip if I wanted, or a flashlight, or something else like that. I did also cut down the rev trigger, because on the stock one, it was just a little too long, and it kind of extended into the trigger, or the finger well, for your lower two fingers, and so when I grabbed the blaster, in the way that was comfortable, it was revving. So I'd have to have my hand a little bit further down than felt natural and comfortable. Luckily, there is a little notch right there, right where it should be, right at the point where the two finger wells meet, and I just took a Dremel to it and took that notch, that section off, which made for a very clean and comfortable modification, and now when I grab it, it doesn't get revved by my ring finger. So, very simple. I'm sure someone will come up with a 3D printed one in no time. I know there are replacement magazine releases, because if you're using a Nerf one that has a Nerf magazine that has this little tab, it kind of gets in the way of the release. You can still get it out, but it's just not quite as smooth as it could, should, would be, especially with drums. That tab really gets in the way. So I understand Foam Blast has one that you can actually reach with your rev trigger finger, which is lovely. So I'll probably get one of those in the near future. For internals, I did go with Michelle 2 motors as well as Worker Smooth motors, and I'm using the Opcolu cage. So there's a Opcolu on Thingiverse has a kit for the Spectrum as well, and he had a cage in his kit, so I printed out his cage, and I will probably end up printing his kit and putting it on this one and comparing the two at some point. But this video was about this kit, but I just wanted to let you know what cage I used. So let's take this thing to the chronograph and see what kind of performance we're getting compared to stock, and then take it to the range and take a look. Here we go. Alright, we shall start with the stock and see what kind of fips we get. Oh, 84, 94, 93, 90, 95, 94, 96, 99, 99. Yeah, that'll do. Yeah, that's what people are claiming they do, and they do indeed do it. That is lovely. All right, let's try the modified one. All right, now our modified one, let's see what we're getting. 130, 137, 138, 141, 135, 138, 126, 140, 145. One more. 145. So yeah, an excellent range for Nerf Wars, too high for most HVZs or for Afterworlds. I will probably try with the red one. When I modify it, I'm gonna try to get it down to that 120 range, probably use different wheels, maybe put in a barrel of some kind to bring the numbers down. But For war, yeah, this is a fabulous little loader. Alright, let's see if we can hit anything with it, though. Right, here we are at the range with the stock one. We're going to be putting 3 rounds at the first 25, 3 rounds at the other 25, and then we'll go 4 rounds at the 50 and see if we can reach out there and hit it. See if we can get any pings. 2, 3, and for the 50. Close, but no joy on the 50. All right, let's try the modified one. Now for the upgrades. The glorious, glorious upgrades. See if we can get some pings. I got 1 ping on the 50. Not too bad. Could definitely use a little bit more accuracy at that range. I'm curious if that barrel would do that. I will have to try that in the future when I build the second blaster. Alright, back to the bench. And there it is. And that is about what I expected, honestly. It obviously has not been fully optimized, so accuracy could definitely be improved, and different motors and different wheels and different cage, and all of that would affect all of that. But as far as the kit itself goes, it is, I really, really like it. I like how he did the front end in multiple parts. That makes it easier to print and allows for more color options. The stock is excellent. I wouldn't mind seeing different length options, perhaps. This was a good length for me, but for somebody else it might be too short, too long, what have you. It's not adjustable in any way, but that obviously makes it for a much more complicated design. And then, of course, if you really want to have more adjustable options, you have the attachment point, which allows you to use any number of various stocks that are out there. So this one matches very, very nicely with the aesthetic of the original shell, and I really like that. The foregrip options, either just having it covered or this, the rail options, all of that. The internals, the switch plate, and the battery housing all make for a really nice kit. Only thing, like I said, it lacks is a flywheel cage, which there are other available options for that. So, yeah, my thanks to Matt at RexTech for sending me this kit. My thanks to Franz Foamworks for making this kit available through their website. This is a great platform. It's right up there with the Strife as far as possibilities go. There just aren't as many kits for it yet. There aren't as many options for it. But the versatility is there. We just need more people to design more kits, and they're getting out there. There's a number on Thingiverse. Obviously, there's this one. I have no doubt there will be more in the future. Hopefully, this blaster remains available in stores long enough for us to develop more kits, and long enough for enough of them to be produced for all of that work to be worth it, because if they discontinue this blaster 6 months from now, they're going to become very rare very quickly, and we're going to have to start all over again with whatever they replace it with. So hopefully it has a better shelf life than some of the stuff that we have seen. But I'm really excited. I really like this. I'm looking forward to this one. This one I will almost certainly paint in X-Strike colors. The red will go orange nicely, and then throw on some black stripes, and we'll have some good stuff. And I'll get to compare this kit to other kits and different internals, and it'll be fun. So there you have it. That was the Hadron kit from RexTech. Check them out. Links in the description. And thank you guys for watching.